Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited as it's Friday and tonight was Friday Night Smackdown. As far as tonight's Friday Night Smackdown does go, I thought it was an okay show. It wasn't like super great or anything. It was an enjoyable episode of Smackdown, I will say that for sure. But outside of the tournament stuff, it was just there. Like even the women's tag title match was just there. And they had the stuff with like Brawling Brutes and Pretty Deadly, and Grayson Waller showed up and stuff. But, I mean, it was an okay to good episode of SmackDown. Wouldn't call it great, though. Wouldn't call it great. But we do have a lot of news coming out of this show, like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are going to Saudi. Yeah, they're working Night of Champions, which we knew was a possibility based off of reports from this morning. But, yeah, crazy stuff to hear. Let's get into all that. But first, I do got to get into the housekeeping. Remember, you can watch this show a number of different ways, whether that's live on Twitch, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, or live or later on YouTube, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can listen to this podcast on, well, podcast platforms like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and they always give you one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can support us over on YouTube by becoming a channel member. Just hit that join button, and boom, you're a channel member. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, like Lego 2K Drive or Star Wars Jedi Survivor, claiming the free bundle they got right now with a bunch of DLC for Sims 4, getting into that new season of what is it? It slipped my mind. Why can't I think of Fall Guys? Or maybe you're trying to go get the new Goku Black in Fortnite that just dropped tonight. Use this code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout. Again, use code PWU NLIMITED at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. So with that, let's get in and start talking about SmackDown that immediately kicked off with a tournament match. I mean, so immediately that Edge was already making his entrance, and AJ Styles and Rey Mysterio's entrances were actually shown on Twitter, which is an interesting move. Kind of taking a play out of AEW's book that they've done a couple of times. But regardless, I thought the opening match was really, really good. Triple threat with Edge, AJ Styles, and Rey Mysterio. Michael Cole welcomed everybody to SmackDown, saying we are on the road to crowning the new World Heavyweight Champion. Cole and Wade Barrett mentioned that Roman Reigns was going to be here later on in the show, and that's when Edge started to come out, and then we went straight into the match. Mysterio and Styles tried to team up on Edge early, and Edge did come back with some stiff shots to both opponents. There were a series of three-person moves that didn't really work great before Edge landed a reverse DDT on Styles for a 2. Styles eventually regained control with a forearm to end the tilt-a-whirl back to Edge, and there was a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker to Mysterio. Mysterio got his turn to take control when he had a splash on Edge, who caught Mysterio in a follow-away slam. Edge then went for a spear, but Styles and Mysterio both caught him and booted him in the face as he dove down for the spear. Mysterio landed a Canadian Destroyer on Edge for a nice, kind of a Canadian Destroyer. More like a sunset flip. I don't know why I wrote a Canadian Destroyer, but it's more like a sunset flip for a nice near fall. Edge and Mysterio were on the outside, and Styles took both out as we go to our first commercial break. When we returned, Styles had Mysterio lifted up on the apron, but Mysterio fought it off. Edge then came through the middle ropes and speared them both to the floor. You got a holy shit chant from the crowd. Mysterio and Edge then rolled into the ring, and Mysterio got a 2 count. Edge got up and stomped on Mysterio before Styles threw Edge to the outside. Inside the ring, Styles worked on a calf crusher on Mysterio, but Edge did add a crossface to it as well. spot then ended with a series of headbutts between Styles and Edge. Styles and Edge then traded blows until Mysterio set both guys up for a 619, but Mysterio ran in and hit a double drop kick for Styles and Edge, who then double clotheslined each other. Edge then ran Styles into the middle drop kick, or middle turnbuckle, and went to the top rope, but Mysterio cut him off. Styles then broke up a pinning attempt via a powerbomb on Mysterio for a 2. Styles then went for Edge and Styles. Styles went after Edge, and Styles was joined by Mysterio, who landed a sunset flip on Styles, who then superplexed Edge for a close 2. Mysterio then set up Edge for a 619, but Styles cut off Mysterio. From there, Mysterio went for another 619, but Edge countered into an executor on Mysterio. Edge did the same to Styles, but Styles made it to the ropes for a break. Mysterio then came back for another 619 attempt on Edge. Mysterio went for something on Edge, but something was miscommunicated, and I'm not sure exactly what was supposed to happen there. From there, Styles hit a phenomenal forearm and pinned Edge to pick up the victory. So they're keeping Ray safe here because Ray's the guy that's on the show every week. Edge, he can get pinned and go away for a month and then come back. So it's all good. And my drink's empty. Give me 1 second. We'll get a little ASMR going in here. There we go. All right. Open this Dr. Pepper. So, Michael Cole then recapped the Usos, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens storyline. Sheamus then made his entrance as we go right into the second triple threat. Also, the first triple threat went 16 minutes. The second one went 13 minutes. This one was Austin Theory, Sheamus, and Bobby Lashley. Austin Theory went to the outside after the bell rang, and Lashley and Sheamus chased him. They pounded on him and threw him back into the ring. Lashley clotheslined Theory to the outside and worked over Sheamus until Sheamus landed a slam on Lashley for a 1. Sheamus then set up Lashley for the 10 beats of the Bowdrin, but Theory broke it up. Only, well, to get it himself. We then go to a commercial break. Back from the break, Lashley was beating up Theory on the outside, and Lashley ran Theory into the ring post and returned to the ring to stare down Sheamus. Lashley and Sheamus then brawled. With this, Sheamus then went to the top and went for an elbow, but Lashley caught him and threw him before going for the hurt lock on Theory. But it was broken up. No, over the hurt lock on Sheamus, and Theory broke up the hurt lock. Theory then hit a blockbuster on Lashley for a 2. Theory then stomped a mud hole in Sheamus and clotheslined Lashley over the top rope to the floor. Theory then ran Lashley into the ring steps. Theory went for the rolling DDT, but Sheamus caught him with an Irish Curse backbreaker. Sheamus hit a series of clotheslines on Theory and hit a middle rope white noise for a 2 on Theory. Sheamus then lifted Theory up, but Theory rolled through for a 2. Sheamus then came right back with some knees to Theory's head. Sheamus then riled up the crowd here, but ran into a spear from Bobby Lashley. This looked like we were going to get the same finish similar to Backlash because Theory then threw Lashley into the ring post and tried to steal the pin, but Sheamus kicked out at 2. Theory then went for the A-Town down, but Lashley, who was bleeding heavily from his head, went for the hurt lock. I don't know exactly where he was bleeding from. I guess when he got his head thrown into the turnbuckle. I don't know. But Lashley from here is just blood all over. Again, Sheamus broke up the hurt lock with a brogue kick, and Lashley threw Sheamus out of the ring and then covered Theory to pick up the victory. So it ends up ending up AJ and Bobby in the main event to face Seth at the pay-per-view. Really good 2 opening matches, like super solid matches from all 6 guys. Glenn Pierce was shown on the phone backstage when he's interrupted by the newest Smackdown superstar, Grayson Waller. Waller said the next week he wants to debut the Grayson Waller effect on SmackDown. And Pierce was like, that's a great idea. Yeah, you can do that. He let us know that his guest is going to be whoever wins the main event tonight, whether that's AJ Styles or Bobby Lashley. We then go to the ring, and Baron Corbin's getting in the ring. I totally, 100% forgot this match was even happening. It was Corbin and Cameron Grimes. Grimes made his entrance. A lot of like skipping entrances tonight to hustle through stuff, which is very interesting. Wasn't much of a match though. Before the bell rang, Corbin introduced Grimes as the last pick of the draft. Corbin said Grimes has guts. And then in 2 minutes, Grimes would be on his way back to NXT. Well, Grimes hit the cave-in immediately as the bell rang and pinned him in 6 seconds. Pinned Corbin in 6 seconds. Cave-in, pin, 1, 2, 3, you're done. Shocked that it only lasted 6 seconds. But hey, it's what they're doing with Baron Corbin now. He's just a goofball. But good win for, maybe good win. I don't know if you can even call it a good win for Cameron Grimes. Excuse me. Received a video package recapping the Cody Brock stuff from Monday. Roman Reigns' music then hit. Came down to the ring. We go to break. Come back. Roman's in the ring. And he says, Knoxville, Tennessee. Acknowledge me. He's standing there with all the bloodline. Does his thing. And then he starts going. Reigns said greatness garners respect. Reigns said that there's only a royal family in the wrestling business, and it's his family. Crowd starts chanting, what? Reigns said that Solo stepped up at Backlash. Reigns said that there were initial concerns with taking Solo on the road because it was sink or swim for Sikoa. But Sikoa has proven that he swims just like a shark. Crowd then chants for Sammy. Reigns said, Sammy and KO ain't the problem. There is a problem, though. Roman said the problem is with Solo's brothers. And Solo nodded, like, yep, there is. Reigns then confronted the Usos, asking them if they thought that they were going to talk about them losing at WrestleMania. Reigns called the Usos out for dedicating the tag match to him on SmackDown and still losing. Reigns said that they disrespected the entire family and the entire bloodline. Reigns said that the Usos embarrassed him. Reigns then demanded an apology from the Usos. Crowd chanting, no. In the Daniel Bryan style, no. Reigns palm-faced Jimmy. Jay then got in the way of a confrontation and said, we're sorry, we apologize. He said, they get one more shot, they'll bring them titles to the bloodline. Roman then said, well, that ain't gonna happen. Wise man, let him know it is gonna happen. Paul Heyman then made an announcement. He said that the tag team championships will be coming to the bloodline at Night of Champions when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defend against the team of Solo Sikoa and the head of the table, the tribal chief, the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns. Roman then said that they will win and they dedicate this match, he looks around, to the greatest tag team there's ever been, Alpha and Sika, the Wild Samoans, the greatest tag team of all time. Reigns and Solo then left the ring, and the Usos just stood there, just stayed standing there, looking all kinds of concerned, confused, and like, oh my God, what just happened? Are we getting kicked out of the bloodline? So I thought this was a really good segment. Again, we knew this was coming because it was reported this morning by Worked Wrestling, I want to say it was. Can't remember if it was Worked Wrestling or Boozer. It might have been Boozer. Give me 1 second and I'll tell you. It was Boozer 666. Said Bloodline defamation continues to Night of Champions, RR and SS versus KO and SZ. Jay won't be happy. But yeah, Boozer with another accurate report there. Boozer 666 on Twitter. Kayla Braxton's in the back with damage control for an interview. Bayley said that she and Roman Reigns have so much in common. Grand Slam champions and exceptional leaders. Bayley told Io not to worry about her loss at Backlash because maybe Io wasn't ready yet. I'm like, oh, what a line to say there. Bayley then told Kayla to tell Roman that Smackdown now belongs to Damage Control. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez music would hit, and we went to the ring for the women's tag team title match. Before the match actually began, we got a Backlash recap video. From there, the Usos confronted the LWO backstage because they were laughing and making fun of them. The Usos then mean mugged them and walked away. We did learn that next week it is going to be Rey and Santos against the Usos. Then we had an 8-minute match for the women's tag titles. It was Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending against Bayley and Dakota Kai of Damage Control. So old best friends and longtime foes, Raquel Rodriguez and Dakota Kai started off the match. Raquel worked over Dakota until Morgan tagged in and threw Rodriguez into Kai. Morgan then covered Kai and got a 2 off of it. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, the still NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, were shown watching backstage. No mention on what they're going to do with those titles. If they're going to merge them with the women's belts, if they're going to take them back to NXT or what. Nothing at all. But they're standing there in the back with their belts, watching. Just in the back with their belts, watching. So we'll see. Kai came back with a punch to Morgan and tagged in Bayley. Morgan rolled up Bayley for a 2. Bayley eventually pinned Morgan. Tried to pin Morgan, but got a 2 on it after her and Kai worked Morgan over. Go to break. When we returned, Rodriguez received the hot tag from Morgan. Rodriguez hit a follow-away slam on Kai. Rodriguez then took out Kai and Bayley, and Morgan tagged back in and was promptly thrown into the challengers multiple times. The ring then cleared as Bayley and Morgan were left. Kai got the blind tag in, though, and kicked Morgan in the head. Bayley held Morgan as Kai landed the double knees of the Meteora. Basically, Morgan is on Bayley's shoulders. Dakota then jumps off the top rope, hits a Meteora. Looks like she maybe tweaks her knee, but she seemed fine. Kai then goes for the pin, but Rodriguez breaks it up at the very last second. Bayley then tagged in and told Sky to give Bayley one of the belts. Rodriguez then stopped the exchange as a result, as Dakota was distracting the referee. Morgan then just rolls up Bayley, just rolls her up out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3 pins her, boom, we're done. Just roll up, roll up. Like, couldn't even hit your move. Jesus fucking Christ. This match is all right. Wasn't great or anything, and had a crappy finish. Like, Dakota runs to one side of the ring to distract the referee. Io then hands Bayley the belt, and then nothing happens for him. Then another weird segment. The Brawling Brutes are backstage, consoling Sheamus after his loss when Pretty Deadly would interrupt. Pretty Deadly kind of made fun of the Brawling Brutes, and the Brutes didn't take kindly to it. Sheamus then went out for a pint. The crew was shown setting up the ring for Bianca Belair's championship celebration. Basically, this was just the Pretty Deadly making fun of Ridge Holland and Butch to set up a tag match next week. Bianca makes her entrance to a nice pop from her hometown in Knoxville, Tennessee. Her family was in the front row, and before the celebration could happen, out would come Asuka. Asuka hurriedly comes down to the ring because you can tell they got a lot on this show and they're trying to get through it. Asuka then extends the hand for a shake, and they let us know in commentary. Remember, these two fought at WrestleMania. As they're going for the handshake, Asuka then miss Bianca in the face. Sprays her in the face. Bianca loses her shit and just starts going wild. And I saw Esports Gamer in the chat saying Bianca's a drama queen. Hey, motherfucker. You ever been sprayed in the face with mist? Yeah, you'd probably throw a fit and scream like that too, you asshole. Don't knock it if you've never experienced it. Belair sold the hell out of this, and Asuka just left. Rumor is that they're going to face at Night of Champions. So we go to the back and we see AJ warming up for the main event. After a break, we see Bianca in the trainer's room flipping out, asking for help. Can't open her eyes. She says that it burns, it stings, and she needs help. She needs to get this out of her face. We then get some stuff announced for next week. We know that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will be coming to SmackDown as they go face-to-face with their Night of Champions challengers, Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. The Usos will be taking on the LWOs, Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. Also, we got the Brawling Brutes taking on Pretty Deadly, and it will be, well, now we know, AJ Styles as a special guest for the Grayson Waller effect, which is awesome, because remember, there's history between AJ and Grayson Waller. Also on Raw, Becky's going to speak about Trish. And there's a battle royal to set up Gunther's next challenger for the Intercontinental Championship on Monday Night Raw. So then we go to our main event that was 12 minutes, actually shorter than both of the triple threats. Even with WWE rushing through everything on this show, this main event actually was shorter than the two triple threats, which is fine, only by a couple of minutes. It was AJ Styles versus Bobby Lashley. And I think it was Wade Barrett that made a comment going, you know, when you lose blood and you say you're giving blood, they say that you can't be doing any strenuous activity for the next 30 to 60 minutes. And it's been less time than that since Bobby Lashley lost a bunch of blood in his match. So I thought it was a kind of a fun analogy to try to make from Wade. But the two locked up, and it became TNA 2009 all over again. Styles went for a chop, but Lashley stopped him and hit some elbows and a boot to the face. Lashley then threw Styles over the top rope as the action spilled to the outside. Lashley ran Styles into the apron before running Styles into the ring post. We go to commercial break. Returning from the break, Lashley had control, but Styles quickly came back with a handful of kicks to Lashley's leg, trying to chop down the big man. Lashley immediately got back the upper hand as Styles rolled Lashley into a calf crusher. Lashley worked out of it, but Styles kept control as he went for a DDT for a 2. Lashley's head was then busted open again. Styles responded with some punches to Lashley's head. He's like, hey, if we got juice, let's really make this work. Styles then lifted Lashley, but Lashley countered into a suplex for a 2. Styles then came back with a sliding punch, but Lashley went for the hurt lock and locked it in until Styles got to the ropes barely to break the hold. The action then spilled to the outside once again, where Lashley went to run Styles into the ring post, but Styles actually countered and ran Lashley into the post before rolling Lashley back into the ring. Styles then teased a phenomenal forearm, but Lashley cut him off and lifted Styles for a suplex. Styles did fight out of it, and the suplex was failed. So Styles then hit a running power slam. No, Lashley caught Styles for a running power slam and got a 2 off of it. Lashley went for a spear, but instead hit the ring post as Styles moved out of the way. Styles then landed a knee to Lashley's head. Styles hit a phenomenal forearm for the victory. So AJ does win and now moves on to Night of Champions to take on Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. He will also be the guest on the Grayson Waller Effect next week. So, good episode of SmackDown. Wouldn't call it great or anything. And you can tell that they booked a lot for this show that they needed to rush through. Like, not rush through as far as, like, things just felt weird. Well, the Asuka, Bianca, kinda. But, like, entrances and stuff. AJ never got an entrance live on the show. He got an entrance he got an entrance before SmackDown went on the air on Twitter, but not for the main event. So, and like Corbin didn't get an entrance and other things like Lashley's second entrance during the main event was cut in half because they were announcing stuff for next week during Bobby's entrance. So yeah, which I mean, entrances are cool. We don't need to see the same entrances every single week all the time. So I'm fine with them cutting some of the entrances like this or coming in halfway through an entrance or something like right before the pyro hits or whatnot. But yeah, a decent to good episode of Friday Night SmackDown with some big news like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to Saudi. Now, I know I've seen somebody on Twitter already go, oh, they got to pre-tape it in America and then just air it on the show. No, I highly doubt they do that. But yeah, that was a Friday Night SmackDown. Again, a good show. Not great, but pretty good. But you know what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's Friday Night SmackDown as we do go and refresh all of the polls. Hit that one. Let's hit that one. Let's hit that one. And the Twitter poll. Twitch poll. 3 people voted. And they all like SmackDown. Very cool. As far as the Twitter poll does go, 71% liked the show, 25% thought it was just all right, and 3% did not like it. As far as the YouTube community poll does go, 78% liked it, 19% thought it was just all right, and 4% didn't like Smackdown. Some of the comments here says, great episode. I hope Bobley's head is okay. This person says, loved it. This person says, I like it. And the heel turn for Asuka was great and funny to watch. This person says, tournament was very predictable, but overall, decent show. Predictable, but predictable in a way that it's giving us this finals. AJ and Seth is going to be, no pun intended to AJ, phenomenal. Like this AJ Seth match is going to be so good. So good. And finally, the YouTube live poll. 70% liked the show, 18% thought it was just all right, and 11% didn't like Smackdown. So yeah, that's going to wrap everything up. That Friday Night Smackdown. A good, decent, quick episode of Smackdown. Just like this podcast was quick, Smackdown felt quick. It did not feel like a 2-hour show because they just ran through things very smoothly and very efficiently, I felt. So maybe they do this more often. Get more on the show by speeding through some things like entrances and whatnot. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for watching, whether that's live on Twitch, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, live or later on YouTube, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or listening on a podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you guys next time. Happy early Mother's Day.